My name is Alan Casey. I lead Be the Change with Rob Gordon, and I want to thank, can we hear it for Monique Reiser, who's doing such a great job as head of Opportunity Nation, and also the Opportunity Nation team that worked so hard to pull this event together. And I also want to thank all of you, because without you, Opportunity Nation doesn't exist. It's really our coalition. So I'm so excited about this event because I know firsthand the importance of our cause. I'm a product of the American dream. My dad immigrated here from Iran. My mother's parents were from Italy. And my parents made huge sacrifices so that I could enjoy everything that our incredible country has to offer. But for too many of our young people, the American dream has become a dream deferred. And that's why it's so important that we all work together to fulfill that promise of America, as Monique said. We're so blessed to have joining us today Senator Tim Scott, who I'll welcome in a minute, and Senator Cory Booker. Senator Scott's here. Senator Booker's going to join us in a little bit because of the Senate schedule. And we're honored because they really role model what we need to do. I deeply admire Senator Scott. When I met him last fall at our Opportunity Summit, I asked him what motivates him, and he told me about your conservative mentor, John Moniz, who took you under his wing and said, you can seize the opportunity in this country, you can think your way out of poverty, the golden opportunity is around the corner. And you embody the American dream. Senator Scott's a child of a single mom. He learned values of faith and hard work, and most of all, believing in yourself and our country. And those are the values that he stands up for every single day. He shared his inspiring message of opportunity and hope and what America has to offer with over 1,000 people at our summit in the fall. Many of you were there. And I know that your message connected, because right after you finished, my 14-year-old daughter pulled me aside. She said, Dad, I really like him. He gets it. And she's... And then she snapped your remarks and your picture to all of her friends. So thanks for helping to make a dad proud of his work. Senator Scott and Senator Booker have used their tremendous legislative skills and commitment to lead many bipartisan efforts. They've championed Opportunity Nation, which we feel so blessed about. They've worked together on criminal justice reform. They've co-authored the Investing in Opportunity Act to put private capital to work in our inner cities and distressed communities and rural areas. And we're honored to continue to work with both of them as we advance this Opportunity Nation policy agenda. I'm also excited to welcome Donovan Hicks, an Opportunity Leader, with us today. Donovan has been recognized as a Gates Millennium Scholar, a Bonner Scholar, a Truman Scholar, and a Mitchell Scholar. And he's only 22. And next fall, he's going to be going to Trinity College. Yes. Next fall, he's going to be going to Trinity College Dublin to earn his master's in philosophy and race, ethnicity, and conflict. And Donovan, you role model that young people are leaders today, not the future leaders. And I just have to say, Senator, you better watch out, because he could be sitting in your seat soon. So please join me in giving a really warm welcome to Senator Tim Scott, a real hero for all of us, and Opportunity Leader Donovan Hicks. Thank you.
Got that on for you, Donovan. You all right, sir? Need some coffee?
Oh, Senator. I said outside that I'm just the frame. Senator Scott is the picture today.
Well, let me just tell you the whole story. So I said, all those, scholars, whatever you are, and all that powerful stuff. I said, I whispered, I said, did you graduate cum laude? He said, magna. Now, I just want you to note, to my right is cum laude, to your left is thank you laude. I was just glad to get my behind out of school. I said, thank you, Jesus. Not cum laude, but magna.
Magna.
Yes. I'm not sure what that means, but
Me neither. But it sounded real good at graduation.
Exactly. Well, I bet it did.
Well, I just want to jump right in. I'm humbled to be here today with you, Senator. Just to set the context a little bit, the Great Recession is still having reverberating effects today on many of America's young youth. By one calculation, youth between the ages of 20 and 24 stand to lose $21.4 billion over the next 10 years. These statistics are quite compelling, but we all know that many of us in this room are here for a great deal more than statistics. We're here because we have narratives that connect us to this issue. So would you mind sharing with us what your personal narrative is and why you're connected to the opportunity movement?
Yeah, I think during the introduction, we heard part of it, Donovan. Raised in a single-parent household, mired in poverty, moved in with our grandparents at 7 years old, shared a bedroom with my mother, my brother for years, devastated by divorce and poverty, not doing well in high school, literally, thank you, Lottie, in college, but failed world geography, civics, Spanish, and English. My joke is if you fail Spanish and English, no one considers you bilingual. Nobody. They call you bi-ignorant because you can't speak any language. And so that was my story growing up, and I thought all things were not possible. And my mentor connected me to this theory that you could think your way out of the most difficult situations you find yourself in. The reason why I connect to Opportunity Nation is because y'all are creating a platform that will help others see their greatest potential. And too often, especially young people, we seem to live down to the lowest level of expectations as opposed to up to the highest level of expectation. And I think Opportunity Nation has a chance to break that down and help people live up to their highest level of potential.
Wow. That's fantastic. My parents set those high expectations, and I think it had a really phenomenal effect upon me.
Obviously.
So the Opportunity Index identified that there are a little over 5 million disconnected youth. That means people who are not in school and not working. 89,000 of those are actually in our great home state of South Carolina. You champion the LEAP Act,
yes,
and you talk about apprenticeships in that model. Can you share with us a little bit today how you believe in that model, and how do you think that could not only help the folks in South Carolina, but across the nation?
Absolutely. Well, one of the things I'll start off by saying is so often today, if you watch the news, whether you're watching headline news, MSNBC, CNN, or Fox News, the one thing you walk away with is not only is our country broken, perhaps toxic in corridors, but there's no such thing as bipartisanship in Congress. But the reality of it is, Corey and I have been working together for at least 3 or 4 years since he came to the Senate on a number of pieces of legislation that focuses on helping the least of these. It's kind of a Matthew 25 calling for me, specific categories of folks who needed some assistance. And as you do it unto the least of these, you do it unto the Lord, from my perspective. And so what I try to do is look for ways to bridge that gap. And the LEAP Act is one of the ways that we do that from an apprenticeship model. So Corey finds this amazing program in South Carolina. I'm embarrassed to say that the New Jersey senator finds a great program in my state. Comes to me and says, seriously, dude? And being embarrassed, I said, yeah, seriously. And so we worked on this LEAP program based on a South Carolina model that has been tremendously successful and effective in the state. The real goal is simply to earn and learn at the same time. Too many of our folks can't afford to go to an internship that's free. You need an opportunity that pays you so that you can acquire the skills that are necessary to succeed in life. And that open door that is the first rung of the ladder is what LEAP helps to accomplish. Think about these numbers. The average unemployment rate for a person without a high school diploma is 8%. The average unemployment rate for an African-American male without a high school diploma is 15.9%. We've got to find a way to bridge the gap so that if a child falls out, here is an opportunity through the LEAP Act to earn and learn at the same time. It's not that you can't, it's that you haven't. So we should provide that opportunity. Let's say you graduate from high school and you're in college, but you need a different skill set. You're looking at the marketplace where you live, and you're saying to yourself that the degree that you're chasing, political science degree, there aren't that many jobs for political scientists. So well, my job is yours later. I only thank God that the Constitution requires an age, a minimum age for you to run for the Senate. How old are you?
22.
I got one more term left, so this is good. So the LEAP Act allows for folks who may want to find another career to get the training at a new company. So there's a way for us, whether you're a high school dropout to benefit from the LEAP Act, or whether you're in college or finishing high school. The apprenticeship model, which is championed by the country of Germany in a way that we should model, is a significant opportunity for folks to engage themselves in experiencing and understanding the full depth within them and getting paid to develop those skill sets.
You're absolutely spot on that internship costs is a huge barrier to entry for a lot of young people.
Yes, sir.
So we're here because of a bipartisan policy plan. We all got these nice bounded notebooks in your chair. They look really good. They have red on it.
Red.
And blue.
You got a little blue on it too?
Yeah, I got a little blue.
A little blue too, so red and blue.
Yeah, put a little bipartisan.
That's
You see
good.
what we
I like
did
that.
there?
You
Yeah.
did a good job, man. Is this a Converse?
Yeah, that is. You wear those?
I did, but my chief of staff back there, she loves Converse.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Okay.
We'll have to get her a pair. So out of our membership,
Yes.
130 have signed on to support this.
That's awesome.
And we want to get your take on how do you create bipartisanship in this very partisan time? We all know that that's not popular these days, and
Yes.
you've led the charge on that. But how do we do it? How does that look like?
I think it's the same in the Senate as it is in life, that I've tried to follow 3 or 4 basic steps in order to be able to work on legislation that can be bipartisan. Number one, I think you have to establish a little rapport. Part of the problem is if you're demonizing the other side, it's really hard to get them to work with you when you have a good idea. But if you embrace the other side as assuming that while we may disagree on how to get there, we're talking about the same there.
Absolutely.
So rapport matters. And then having credibility on the topic that you want to sponsor, which is very helpful from my perspective. And then if you have rapport and credibility, people will give you permission to talk about the problem. And if you have permission to talk about the problem, then you can solve the problem. And those 4 steps has worked really well for me with Corey, of course, and Senator Peters from Michigan, a Democrat, Senator Bennett from Colorado, a Democrat. I've been able to work on pieces of legislation that have moved through Congress, both the House, the Senate, and signed into law because I had a bipartisan coalition supporting that legislation.
Wow. You think all of your other colleagues can follow this model as well?
Please bow your head for a word of prayer.
Well, we thank you for your leadership in that, and I think that's a great framework to think about these issues. So in this room, we have about 20 opportunity leaders, and opportunity leaders are young people across the nation that Opportunity Nation has selected to sort of increase and better opportunity for young people wherever they may live. What is your message to these young people today and young people across the nation? How can we sort of take up the mantle and do the work in our own hometowns?
Well, first thing, I would recommend everybody, if you don't have a good team around you, make sure you have a good team around you. Because my good team just texted me and said, don't forget to mention that you're introducing the LEAP Act today, because I forgot to mention it. So thank you to my chief of staff for texting me and telling me what to do. So always have a good team around you. Corey and I are introducing the LEAP Act today, which is another sign and signal to the American public that there is a way for us to work cooperatively across the aisle. So I think that's very important, number one. Number two, the answer to your question, how do we encourage the 20 opportunity leaders in the room today?
Yes, and across the nation.
Across the nation. It's kind of simple. Be comfortable in your own skin. Know what drives you. Know where your passion is, and then follow it. And you will find folks attracted to your mission and your objective as you understand it thoroughly. That thorough understanding plus enthusiasm attracts folks that want to hear what you have to say, and then you will influence them. Leadership is nothing more or less than influence. That's really what leadership is all about. And so if you can have folks influenced by your message, then you will create your own team. Then you'll hit a tipping point. And once you hit that tipping point, all things are truly possible, and you can change your community, your city, your state, and then this nation. I was as we said earlier, poor kid trapped in a desperate place when I was young. And when my mentor died, I was 19 years old. He was 38 years old. I set my mission to positively impact the lives of 1 billion people with a message of hope, my faith in the Lord, and opportunity, financial independence. And at 19 years old, still very poor, I had no clue in the world how I was going to reach 100,000 people, much less 1 million and then 1 billion. But with hard work and dedication and with passion, I found myself in unusual positions consistently, sometimes painful, because not every single person that comes to you will be coming to embrace you. Some will be coming to tell you what you can't do, who you can't be, where you can't go. If you have your own echo chamber, though, you'll find that the sound of enthusiasm, because of, I call it the PBA, your personal board of advisors, will help you reach beyond the negativity into the light, and then you will bring some of your naysayers with you. Some of them, they just need to go home.
Let the church say amen.
Wow.
We can just.
Now, can I take up an offering too, by the way? I'm not just saying, yes, please make your checks payable to Donovan.
That was beautifully said. So I want to sort of end this on a specific item that, I know that you have had bipartisan support on, and that's the earned tax credit. And this is tax season. This is most of us' favorite time of the year. I just recently discovered why it's the favorite time of the year, because I now work a job and I now see how much money goes to the federal government, which I love, but I love to get it back. And so I understand this
Congratulations for Deloitte for making a good decision to hire you.
Deloitte's a good place. But can you talk about your support of that, and how do you believe that empowers families?
I mean, one of the ways that we can accelerate the take-home pay of folks who are living paycheck to paycheck is the earned income tax credit. It provides a real opportunity for folks to see a refundable tax credit. That means that they're making more money every time they go to work. So that's a powerful tool. I think it's important for us to continue to look for ways to engage folks who are living in poverty or who are living paycheck to paycheck. One of the things that we've done, Cory Booker and I, once again, partnering with folks like Mike Bennett from Colorado, as I mentioned earlier, and Senator Peters from Michigan. We've got 2 co-sponsors on the House side, one Republican, one Democrat, and we're focused on something called investing in opportunities. And what that basically does is it provides a vehicle to defer your capital gains tax so that you reinvest your $1.2 to $1.7 trillion in distressed communities. 50 million Americans live in distressed communities. We're looking for a way to encourage folks to make long-term investments in neighborhoods without gentrifying those neighborhoods, which has to be a part of that conversation, because saying that something that was old is now new and it's better, but you ran everybody out, to me is not a success story. Can somebody say amen to that? So literally, it is truly important for us to make sure that as we seek to make those struggling paycheck to paycheck have a higher quality of life, experience their full potential, we need to do so without gentrifying them. And Investing in Opportunity Act doesn't create a government program. It doesn't hire a government bureaucrat. It basically gives the private sector more incentives, a delay of paying the capital gains tax, more incentive to make a long-term investment in one of the designated communities designated by the new market tax credit. 50 million people in all 50 states make an investment in one of those communities. Watch those communities rise, and you pay your taxes. You just pay them a little later. So that's just another vehicle in addition to the earned income tax credit where we could focus people back to communities where the help is needed, but do it in a way that creates more independence and not more dependence on the government.
Fantastic. That wraps up our session today, but before I let you go, Senator, I just want to thank Alan Casey for that wonderful introduction.
He did a really good job.
He's fantastic, right?
Yeah. Can I hire you? Part-time? Yeah.
And also thank the Opportunity Nation and everyone that supports the nonprofit for being here. No. And thank you so much for being here. I just want to say personally, you're a beacon of hope for not only young people around the world, for young black men around the world. And I just personally want to thank you for being my senator, for doing it with such respect and honor and dignity and integrity. And it means a